Hello everyone. So this is your self-learning assessment number 4 in which you have to conduct the SWOT analysis of biodiversity hotspot in India. Now first of all we should understand the two terms that are used over here, that is SWOT and the biodiversity hotspot. So let me talk about biodiversity hotspot. Biodiversity hotspots are the places in India wherein lot of species of animals, insects and birds as well as different types of trees and creepers are available. It may be grass. So the spots or the places wherein variety of flora and fauna, variety of species are available, variety of vegetation is available, that is called biodiversity hotspot. And as far as SWOT analysis is concerned, the full form of SWOT is strength, weakness, opportunities, threats. And you have to analyze anything. In this case, biodiversity hotspot means any place of India wherein you can find plenty of vegetation, plenty of trees, plenty of insects, plenty of animals, that is flora and fauna. So you have to understand any biodiversity hotspot from this SWOT analysis point of view. That means you have to understand the strength of that biodiversity hotspot, weaknesses of that biodiversity hotspot, opportunities and threats for that biodiversity hotspot. In this regard, you have to complete the next self-learning assessment. So whatever the next topics you find, you just forget it because we will continue them in next self-learning assessment. As of now, the title of your self-learning assessment is Conduct the SWOT Analysis of Biodiversity Hotspot in India. Let's see one by one, and you have to simply copy it, whatever you see on the slide. So what is SWOT analysis? SWOT analysis is a strategic planning technique used to identify and evaluate the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of an organization, project, or individual. It is a framework used to analyze the internal and external factors that can impact the success of a venture or initiative. So SWOT analysis is a tool that tells us that what are our strengths. It may be strength of the organization that you are working in. It may be you are an individual. It may be your project. Every person, every organization, every project, every biodiversity hotspot or the place, maybe city, village, can be analyzed on the basis of SWOT. Means what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, what are the opportunities, and what are the threats. So if we do this analysis of any place, any person, any organization, we can understand that in future whether that organization, whether the person will be successful or no, or whether the project will be successful or no. And that's why SWOT analysis is very important, and every individual, every organization should go for SWOT analysis maybe twice in a year or maybe once in a year. So every individual, every student, every professional, every organization, every company should go for SWOT analysis technique. So strength. These are the internal factors that are favorable to the organization or project, such as skills, resources, and capabilities. Strengths can be used to leverage opportunities and counter threats. For example, if we consider the place like Lonavala. So what is its strength? Strength is very pleasant and cool climate. The mountain terrains, very scenic atmosphere that attracts the tourists. So that are the strengths of the place like Lonavala or Khandala that we must have seen. And there are so many good places like this that they have this scenic atmosphere, scenic climate, scenic terrains, and the different things that are available naturally. So that is the strength. Now what are the weaknesses? These are the internal factors that are unfavorable to the organization or project, such as limitations, vulnerabilities, and deficiencies. Weaknesses can make the organization or the project more susceptible to threats and less able to capitalize on opportunities. For example, if any place which has no roads, proper roads to explore that particular place, so lacking the road, that is a weakness. So once you understand after the SWOT analysis what is the weakness of one particular place, one particular individual or organization, because of this SWOT analysis, once you come to know about the weaknesses, you are supposed to apply the solutions. So every student should understand and go for the SWOT analysis individually too. In this particular self-learning assessment, we are going to analyze any biodiversity hotspot from the point of view of its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So one should understand what is meant by strength and what is meant by weakness. So weakness, I quoted one good example, that if any very scenic place is there which has all flora and fauna that the tourists can get attracted to, or even the researchers can get attracted to, and by this one can get the good revenue, but problem is that there are no proper roads to access that particular area. That is the weakness. So in that regard, you should understand the SWOT analysis. The next one is opportunities. Based on the strengths of any organization, any place, any individual, what kind of opportunities can be made available for that person, for that organization, or maybe an individual. So these are the external factors that can be leveraged to the advantage of the organization or project, such as market trends, customer needs, and technological advancement. Opportunities can be used to grow the organization or project and increase its success. For example, any biodiversity hotspot, which has all wild animals like lions and tigers. So it would be tourist attractions. So the opportunity is to develop tourism over there and to earn good revenue. And there are so many places like in Sanjay Gandhi National Parks also, there are so many good animals, there are so many good trees, good amount of trees that is available, and the tourists get attracted to, and so the tourism has flourished, and that generates good revenue for the local people and the local government. So this is the opportunity. For example, if any hotspot has some medicinal plants, so that particular medicinal plant, if it is available in one particular biodiversity hotspot, so it will definitely generate a good revenue. In Himalayas also, these terrains, Himalayan terrain, it is filled with a lot of medicinal plants and trees. So in that case, the medical industry can be established over there, even the pharma industry can flourish over there. So this is the opportunity. From that point of view, you have to understand this. And threats, so whatever weaknesses of any individual, any place, or any organization is there, that weakness may pose as a threat. For example, if an individual who is not good in English, so sometimes it may cost him the job interview and he will not get the opportunity. So this is a threat for his individual, every individual's life. It is because he or she is not good in English, which is of course a target language in engineering branch. Similarly, if any organization which has no skilled and unskilled employees properly, or no updated technology available, so this is a weakness, and this weakness can change into threat because they will not get any demand in market if they have outdated technology that they are using. So to quote one good example, that is Nokia mobile phone, Micromax mobile phone, these two companies, they did not update themselves, so they lack the modern technology. And so lacking modern technology was the weakness of these two companies, and that's why they got the threat. The threat was that now their companies are nowhere in the market, now they cannot compete with the other available brands that are available having high or standard latest technology. So in any biodiversity hotspot, whatever weakness is there, for example, if one particular biodiversity hotspot, which is maybe Amazon forest, which is not accessible, which lacks maybe good amenities for the tourist or maybe for the researchers, obviously nobody will turn to this terrains, and if they don't turn to these terrains, the revenue will not be generated. So sometimes your weakness can pose a threat to you. And from this point of view, we have to understand SWOT analysis. Every individual can go for SWOT analysis. Every organization should do this SWOT analysis, or any product or any business that you want to launch in market, you should go with the SWOT analysis first of all. So this is the SWOT analysis. Why we use it? Number one, identify the key factors that can impact the success of a venture or initiative. Develop strategies to leverage strengths and opportunities, address weaknesses and mitigate threats, make informed decisions about investment, resource allocation, and risk management, monitor and evaluate the effectiveness of strategies and initiatives. Because of SWOT analysis, the very important decisions can be taken, that what are the strengths of an individual, what he or she can do. Based on the strength, the decisions can be made. What are the weaknesses of an individual or maybe a company or the product or maybe a biodiversity spot? Based on the weaknesses, what can be the solution to these weaknesses? These solutions can be applied and the weaknesses can be turned into strength. By this, an individual or organization or maybe a biodiversity place or hotspot can be enhanced. So weaknesses can be changed into strengths. So once the weaknesses are addressed, or the we can definitely decrease or mitigate the threats. If one person understands that English speaking is his weakness, the threat is that he or she may not get the job. But if the person comes to know about his weakness, that English is my weakness, and if he applies solution and practices hard and becomes a good English speaker and a presenter, obviously that weakness can change into strength and the person may be placed in proper position, or he will start earning good amount. So this is how this SWOT analysis is very much important. SWOT analysis of a biodiversity hotspot in India. Now let us apply this SWOT analysis technique to biodiversity hotspot. Biodiversity has hotspot means, as I said, it is the place wherein the flora and fauna are abundant. Number one, unique and diverse ecosystem. India is a home to a wide range of ecosystems, including tropical rainforests, coral reefs, and mangroves, which support a vast array of plant and animal species. So this is a strength of India, because India has got proper different types of climates available. For example, we have tropical rainforest wherein perennial rain is available and a huge or thick dense forest is available over there. Similarly, we have Andaman and Nicobar Islands, that you can see the coral reefs over there. Then the mangroves, whatever coastal line we have got, you can see mangroves over there, and different artificial species are available in the range of mangroves. So we have different or vast flora and fauna available in India, because we are in a temperate zone. We experience rain, we experience hot summer, we experience winter too. So these are the three different types of climates that we experience, and that's why we have unique and diverse ecosystem available. Because of the climate, the different kind of species, different kind of animals and insects are available at different places, and that makes us divergent. High endemism. Many of India's biodiversity hotspots have high levels of endemism, with species found nowhere else in the world, making them a priority for conservation. Means because of the unique climate that India has, different species that are very unique, and they are not available on the Earth planet. They are simply available on in India. So because of that, we have a very unique ecosystem over here. We have unique species of flora and fauna, and that is our strength. Government initiatives. The Indian government has launched. This is also strength of biodiversity hotspot. Now these biodiversity hotspots are protected by the Indian governments. The such rules and protection acts have been brought into practice, and that has helped to conserve and preserve the flora and fauna, or the species that are available at particular biodiversity hotspot. Community engagement. Not only that, the people are also spread all over India, and depending on the climate, they have simply adapted themselves to the climate. And these local people, they are also made to be a part of this conservation scheme of biodiversity hotspot, wherein the people are trained, they are motivated, they are educated to protect the biodiversity or flora and fauna of the particular place, because the local people are the one who can protect them, because the government cannot be at every place. And if the local people and local government is taken into consideration and their support is taken, obviously the flora and fauna can be saved. So this is also another strength. Tourism potential. Because of the biodiversity hotspot, one can generate tourism, and because of tourism, we know that the hospitality industry earns a lot, and there are so many famous spots available in India which are very famous for tourism, and that and in every season you have different attractions for the tourists. So 24 by 7 as well as all 12 months, the tourism is available and is possible in India, because of the different climate zones that we experience. Weaknesses. What are the weaknesses of the biodiversity hotspot that you will undertake? Habitat fragmentation. Now, what is this habitat fragmentation? Many biodiversity hotspots in India are fragmented with habitats being destroyed or degraded due to human activities like deforestation, urbanization, and infrastructure development. See, the coastal road that we created in Mumbai, obviously for that coastal road, the mangroves were cut. And when the mangroves were cut, the whatever animals, whatever birds and insects they used to live in those mangroves, obviously they got affected, they got replaced. And that is one of the weaknesses that we have because of urbanization, because of industrial development, because of the overpopulation. We keep on deforesting, we keep on cutting trees, and based on this, so many species, flora and fauna get extinct from this planet. So this is another weakness. Human wildlife conflict. You must have heard so many things that the leopard enters the human colonies, and sometimes the leopard kills humans. Sometimes a wild elephant, he crushes some people. And these conflicts are there because we have encroached upon the natural habitat or natural living area of these wild animals, and this particular conflict is bound to happen because of the urbanization, because of the overpopulation, because of industrialization. We have simply encroached over the forest and jungles, which is a natural home for these different species, animals, insects, reptiles. And when we cut the trees, when we cut the forest, when we burn the forest, obviously these animals who lose their natural home, they are bound to enter human colonies, and these conflicts are bound to be there. Lack of funding, because India is a developing country, and that's why the funds are used for the needs of the Indian population, and sometimes they do not get enough fund to protect our biodiversity hotspot. And of course, when there are no funds, it results in poor management of this rich biodiversity hotspot, and they become degraded. Inadequate infrastructure. Many biodiversity hotspots lack adequate infrastructure such as roads, trails, and visitors facility, making it difficult for tourists and conservationists to access and manage these areas. Now, the people who conserve these forests, they are called conservationists. And these conservationists, when they visit such biodiversity hotspot, they need proper roads, they need proper stay facility, proper food facility, which is sometimes not available because we lack the funds, and that's why the proper infrastructure has not been built. And hence these biodiversity hotspot may not be protected because sometimes the people keep on poaching, they keep on killing wild animals for their personal gains, the people keep on cutting trees for their personal gains, and because of this nature, these biodiversity hotspots are not protected because there is no proper infrastructure available, and that results in the weakness of any biodiversity hotspot. Climate change is ulterior ecosystems and disrupting species distribution, making it challenging to conserve biodiversity. Because of the climate change, because of the global warming, sometimes the tropical forests, they do not get enough supply of rain. Sometimes the cyclone takes place, and very forests, they are destroyed, and because of this the species are affected, sometimes they are completely destroyed. And this is another weakness of any biodiversity hotspot. Now, what are the opportunities of this biodiversity hotspot of means that particular place? Ecotourism development. Obviously, people, those who are staying in urban or city area, whenever they are having vacation, whenever they are having holidays, they simply prefer to visit the places which are rich in nature, and obviously that gives good opportunity to develop a business, that is ecotourism. The second opportunity is sustainable land use planning. Encouraging sustainable land use practices such as agroforestry and permaculture can help maintain ecosystem services and biodiversity. Instead of simply cutting the trees, if the orchards means the trees of fruits, if they are planted, obviously they result in good income as well as they result in saving or protecting the environment. Community-led conservation. Empowering the local community to take ownership of conservation efforts lead to more effective and sustainable conservation outcomes. Whatever these biodiversity hotspots are available in India, the people who stay over there, they should be given this opportunity and responsibility to protect that flora and fauna. And that will definitely lead to the conservation and protection of that place. Technology and innovation. Leveraging technologies like remote sensing, GIS, and conservation drones can enhance conservation efforts and monitoring of biodiversity hotspot. Because of the technology, the people, they by simply sitting in their own room can use the drone and do that re-see that if any poaching is taking place, if someone is cutting the trees or no. Such technology can be used. Even the remote sensing, even the camera can also be installed so that these forest and biodiversity hotspots can be conserved from the interference of humans. International cooperation. See, every individual, whether he is from America or India or maybe from Bangladesh, he or she needs proper oxygen to breathe, pollution free air, pollution free water, and all. And that's why internationally the people keep on helping each other. So in this case also, in order to protect any biodiversity hotspot in India, international other countries can also be taken into consideration. Their help can be sought and their funds can be gained from these people. Their exports, their technology can also be adopted, and biodiversity hotspots can be preserved and conserved. Threats: deforestation and habitat destruction. Whenever we cut trees or the grass is burnt, the forests are burnt. Obviously, for different purposes like agriculture, urbanization, industrial infrastructure, and all, we keep on cutting the trees. And because of that, the natural home of these animals and species and reptiles and insects, they simply lose it. And once they lose it, obviously they are not human beings that they can have different houses made by government. Instead of that, they simply die and they are on the verge of extinction. Climate change. Once the biodiversity hotspot are cut or completely destroyed, whatever climate support that we used to get from these biodiversity hotspot is lost, and because of that, it adds in climate change. And once the climate change is there, obviously the whole structure or this circle is disturbed, and obviously directly or indirectly it affects humans and animals or the species, those who are alive over there, or maybe the vegetation is also destroyed. Invasive species. Sometimes what happens, because one natural habitat of one particular animal is destroyed, these animals then shift to another biodiversity hotspot. And once they shift, obviously the conflict between the existing animals and these encroaching animals, that conflict takes place, and in this process one or the other animal gets killed. And because of that, obviously the biodiversity, the ecosystem is disturbed. Over exploitation of resources. Whenever in a particular terrain, it may be excavation, it may be that any medicinal plant that is available over there, any, it may be any commercial plants, trees that are available in one particular area, people keep on cutting them so that they should gain maximum benefit. And because of this greediness of humans, the resources are exploited and the biodiversity is completely damaged and lost. Policy and regulatory challenges. Inadequate policies and regulations can hinder conservation efforts, while conflicting interests and corruption can undermine effective management of biodiversity. Of course, there is a system. Of course, there are rules and regulations made by government, but the officials, those who protect these forests and biodiversity hotspots, they are corrupt, and because of their corruption, these policies are not properly executed and implemented. And that's why they, you must have seen that in the movie like Pushpa, also the person smuggles the trees, he cuts them and sells them, and because of that the sandalwood smuggling takes place, and thanks to all the corrupt officials. So though there are though there are policies available, the implementation is big challenge in front of the country like India. So what we need to do based on this SWOT analysis, what are the different recommendations come suggestions? Develop and implement effective conservation plans. There has to be a proper plan. Well planned is half done. Means once the planning is foolproof, there are no loopholes, and if it is going to be executed 100%, it will conserve the biodiversity hotspot. Engage local communities. The people who stay in that particular area, they should be properly involved in the protection of this biodiversity hotspot. They should be guided, they should be given proper technology, they should be given financial support, they should be given the responsibility of protecting this biodiversity, and they should be taken into consideration in the process of conservation. Promote sustainable land use practices. The land use practices like agroforestry, permaculture, and other ecosystem services should also be utilized so that the forest is not affected and the production can also be gained. Enhance ecotourism. Develop and promote ecotourism in biodiversity hotspot, generating revenue and creating jobs for local communities. Of course, there are so many good states. They are coming forward to protect the flora and fauna that they have, which is the tourist attraction. And they know that if this flora and fauna is protected, obviously the tourists will go to them, and their hospitality industry and tourism industry will get proper money or revenue. Monitor and evaluate conservation efforts. Of course, there are so many schemes launched by government, but 100% implementation of these schemes should also be monitored and properly executed. These efforts, if they are honestly implemented, definitely the biodiversity hotspot will be protected. So this is how you have to complete your self-learning assessment number 4 in environmental studies and sustainability. Copy whatever is given over there. The explanation is given only for the sake of your understanding, because based on this, some multiple choice questions will be asked to you, so you should be prepared from that point of view. The explanation has been given and you need to copy as it is given over there. All the very best.